everyone. I'm Tina Reynolds with Uptown Studios, and I am so thrilled today because I have my dear friend, Libby Fernandez, that I have known for a long time, and we have been fighting the good fight. Libby, I just need to call you Angel Libby, Sacramento's own Angel. You have your wings that you have spread across our area, and you are marvelous. But I do have questions for you.
Oh, thank you. And please, it's so good to see you.
I
It
know. Here
almost
we
feel
are.
like we're next to each other.
Awesome. Yes, almost. So next time I see you, I've gotten both of my shots. I can give you a hug.
Yes, I can hug you too. I've been vaccinated.
Awesome. Me too. Me too. And I'm well into the 2 weeks into it and feel great. And it just gives me new hope.
Yes, and we're getting vaccination shots out now to those who are homeless. So we're
Awesome.
getting it
How
out
are you?
there.
How are you doing that? How are you coordinating that?
Various places, Loaves and Fishes, it's done it a couple times, and now the Cathedral of the Blessed Sacrament. They're doing it at the mobile shower unit. They're
The
doing it at Well
showers. That's perfect.
Space. It's amazing.
It's awesome. That is so awesome. So we go back to 2008, I think. It was
Yes, indeed.
2008 when Lisa Ling came to Sacramento
Mhm.
and did an expose on homelessness and the tent campgrounds up by the railroad tracks.
Yes, that was the big crash, the big market crash of our housing. And all of a sudden, it just seemed like overnight there was 200 tents behind Blue Diamond, which
Yeah,
meant that that's just a fraction of homelessness growing.
sure,
And so
sure.
it brought the Oprah show out here to really explore homelessness, not just in Sacramento, but all across the United States because of our housing market crash.
If they can have homeless in Sacramento, homeless can be everywhere. And that's kind of what the expose said.
Oh, absolutely. It was shocking across the world to find out that the United States had so much poverty and homelessness that they weren't alone. You know, every
Yeah,
country in the
yeah,
world could really feel that experience of a
yeah,
third world
yeah.
setup.
And then Kevin Johnson came in and dispersed all the tents.
Oh
And
yeah, we've had
that,
our. Oh yeah, you remember that we tried so hard. It was John Krantz and Sacramento Homeless Organizing Committee that coined the term "safe ground." We need a safe
Big
place to
Brown.
be, a
Yes.
place where you can sleep at night and not be harassed. Put up your tent and be safe. And now, 11 years later,
Oh,
the
here, let's
city
show
is
this. Wait, we have
promoting
to show this
safe
picture.
ground.
This is like, oh, from the city. Thank you, city council people and Katie
Woohoo!
Valenzuela. We love you. Thank you for doing this. It's a place to be safe where you can camp. Um, I think that it's just awesome. So in 2009, we formed Safe Ground
Mm-hmm.
Sacramento, and it was you and I and Greg Bunker, bless his soul.
Yeah,
Rest in peace, Greg.
yeah.
You did such great work.
From
John
Francis
Cleese,
House. Yeah.
yeah, Mark Marin and Kat Marin, or Kat Williams, and
Mhm. Paula
Paula
Lamazzi,
Lamazzi was
Tracy.
Tracy
Oh,
Rice
Tammy
Daly.
Dramer from our Democratic
Tammy
Party.
Dramer,
Yeah.
yes, it was like, and we were just the activists fighting, and I'm telling you, no one would listen to us. It is like a no go. You're not going to ever get a safe ground in Sacramento.
No,
And
we tried.
we tried, oh my gosh, talking
Mhm.
and going. That's when they started to form Sacramento Steps Forward.
Mhm.
And I joined that board so that I could be an influence there. And then I quit that one because I was just no help at all. It was just, I mean, it's just been homelessness is something I don't understand. If there's a dog that's wandering on the street, it will be adopted right away. But if there's people, uh, I don't know why it's so hard.
Well, and we've had many council members and many mayors, from Mayor Johnson to Heather Fargo to our present mayor Steinberg, who said, yes, we need to have safe ground. We even took a city contingency up to Washington State to look at some
Yeah,
of their safe grounds
yeah,
in tent cities. But political will is very important, but you really have to say yes. And you really have to convince your neighborhood association and each community. And they never had the strength to really fight NIMBYism, not in my
Yeah,
backyard, because
not in my
nobody
backyard.
wants homelessness in their backyard. And
Yeah,
so we all know that nobody wants homelessness at all, but you got to be somewhere.
you
And
had to be.
so the city really need and still needs to work with the neighbors, work with homelessness and just the whole issue of it all, work together to come up with a solution that everyone wins.
Right. It's like if we can disperse people without homes
Mm-hmm.
into homes throughout our area, as soon as they're in an apartment or a home, they're not homeless anymore. They're your neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
And the more that we can get in, the more success that we're going to have. And this one issue, it's a shame on all of us, a shame on us that we don't have this taken care of yet. It's like
Absolutely.
I told you about, and I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned it on my show before, that I was the first female letter carrier in 1967, and I delivered checks to all of the hotels. The word homeless didn't exist in 67. Everyone had a place. There were general assistance checks that went to everyone, and they could afford a room with a bathroom
Mm-hmm.
down the hall, and they could buy their food, and they could survive. But
Right.
and so there were no homeless. There were transients, there were hobos, and there were winos.
Right, right. The word
But they all had a
homelessness,
place.
yeah, you bet it. It was coined right out of the Reaganomics time, when I mean his idea was great because the mental institutions, the hospitals, were horrifying, and the
Yeah,
treatment of
horrible.
people in the hospitals were extremely terrible. So his idea was to humanize people with mental illnesses and put them in the small homes like group homes with
Hmm.
supportive
Hmm.
services. Well, his idea was great, but it never happened. The
He
counties did
closed
not
the
follow
hospitals.
through.
He closed the hospitals, but he
Mm-hmm.
never opened the foster homes. You like to call them
Absolutely.
foster homes. They were group homes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. With supportive services. And now we're trying to
Yes.
go back and say we
Right.
need small communities with supportive services,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
so difficult to even get in a neighborhood nowadays.
Oh man, it is. So that's a little bit of our history, and we never left contact. We still
Yep.
are love each other.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
the the other thing I want you to talk about is your life story. It's like when you became a nun,
Yep.
and then how you got into working with homeless.
Well, it was pretty easy. I've been a Sister of Mercy for 31 years. And
Wow.
how I got to do that is when I was getting my master's in social work at Sac State, I really wanted to know um, where I was being called to serve. And it was through Sac State social work program that they hooked me up with Loaves and Fishes. They had
Ah,
just opened up.
there it is.
Yeah. So Loaves and Fishes opened up in 1983. Well, I started volunteering there in 1985. So
Oh
pretty
man.
much since the very beginning, I was a part of Loaves and Fishes volunteering there. And then eventually I opened up my own mental health clinic there at Loaves and Fishes called Genesis Mental Health. And then
You
from there, I
started
worked at
that.
Mary Health.
Ah,
Yeah,
look at
Genesis
you.
Mental Health. Yeah, because it's
Uh,
a big issue with homelessness. You know,
yeah.
we have addictions, we have mental illnesses, we have disabilities, we have learning disabilities, physical disabilities. You know, there's a lot of issues amongst people who are considered homeless today.
Yeah.
So I started working there. So I eventually made my way up or made my way to running all of Loaves and Fishes as the executive director. And so I did about 20 years worth. And of course,
So
you
did
and
you
I have
do?
gone a
Did you
long way
start?
since then.
Did you start Mary House?
I know, but a Sister of Mercy did. Yes.
Ah, okay.
Started that in 85 too. Another sister opened up Mary House. And I worked there.
Uh-huh.
You know, Loaves and Fishes is such a dynamic nonprofit. It receives no government funding and is really a hospitality center for homeless people to go, both men, women, and children. And so they have 5 acres and 14 different programs right there on the campus. And so, really, it is the hub of where you can go during the day to receive services, be safe, get clean, take a shower, get a hot meal, meet
Mhm.
friends. With COVID, it's been so difficult because you can't gather in groups.
Yeah.
So COVID has been a disaster on homelessness here in Sacramento. People are so dispersed. They have very little contact with people and nonprofits. Shelters are less because they need more space and to give 6 feet between each other.
Yeah.
There's less people in the shelters. There's less shelters. There's less churches that open up their doors because of COVID. So there's just really lack of places for
Oh,
people to
yeah.
go during the day.
Yeah.
And so what do you see? You see encampments everywhere, all
Everywhere.
over Sacramento.
Because there's no place to go. So what about those warming centers? And were you in contact with the city on opening up those?
Yeah, it's been good. It took a couple people to die on the streets during that terrible storm to finally get a warming shelter to open up. And
And
our
what was
city,
the problem there? Do you know what the problem was? Why that?
to me, it's the lack of collaboration between the city and the county. The county is responsible for homelessness programs and they have all the funding. It's not the city's responsibility underneath their guidelines. But the warming centers are within the city. So the city said, this is ridiculous. Why can't we open up our own property?
Yeah.
For our homeless people and not go by a standard that the county has set up for
That you have
inclement
to wait
weather.
until
it had to be
it reaches
cold
40 degrees.
in a row below 34.
Yeah,
Oh my
right.
God, when did
That's
that
crazy.
happen?
34 is crazy cold. 40 is crazy cold.
Yeah.
45 is crazy cold. It's like, yeah.
So the city finally said, "Wake up! This is ridiculous." So our mayor opened up warming centers and within the city. And
did he establish new rules that we can? Are there new rules?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, awesome.
It's like just be safe, get your space. We understand if you have mental illness or drug addictions, but just don't do it while you're there, and come back every night.
That's awesome.
We need it there all year long, and hopefully the mayor is working on getting more funding to keep it open all year long.
Oh, good. So let's talk about you're at Loaves and Fishes for
20 plus years. Yes.
20 plus years. And you and I meet and you have this, I have an idea.
Well, I had to keep it a secret because as a Sister of Mercy, if I'm not working a ministry at Loaves and Fishes, I could have been told to go to a different state to do other ministries or wherever the need was the greatest. So I really contacted you to say, how can we help create my idea, my vision of service to our homeless here on the streets, but a more creative outreach way.
Yes.
And
what
did we came up with Mercy Peddlers.
Mercy Peddlers. It was just you. I just want to do this. I'm just going to do this, right? Yeah. I'm going to have coffee on my bicycle and I'm going to ride around and check in with people. I'm just going to see how they're doing and what do they need.
Right. Be that mercy presence and connect them to the proper resources. But mainly it was to continue reaching out to people who found themselves out and about on the streets, but yet I care, and I wanted to let them know that people care. And so we began to, form people of like minds who wanted to do outreach and connect with people one-on-one with a sense of respect, dignity, love, care, because that's the bottom line is we all want to be loved and we all want to love.
And to know that there are people that care about you.
Absolutely.
And I may not be able to remove you from this awful situation, but I care.
That's right.
And I can help.
Once I care, you care, we all care, then you begin to feel a little bit better about yourself.
Yeah.
For the first time, I have homeless people who are no longer homeless and now are Mercy Peddlers.
Oh my gosh.
So it just goes back to I want to be a peddler too.
So tell me about how many peddlers do you have?
Well, so this is the beginning of our 4th year now.
Yeah.
And prior to COVID, we had over 100 peddlers out there in various neighborhoods from Arden Arcade, Carmichael, the River, downtown,
Yeah.
Midtown, East Sac. And we're going out at least once a week connecting with those who are homeless. With COVID, I was down to like a dozen of us out there.
Oh, wow.
It was scary. Even
Yeah.
I took a few weeks off because I wasn't quite sure if it was safe enough for me to go outside and connect
Yeah.
with people who are homeless. Especially, you remember that a year ago, stay at home.
Yes.
You
Stay
know,
at home. And if you've got no home, I don't know, plant your tent down and stay there.
Yeah. So I was scary for me
Right.
too, and many of my peddlers were volunteers, of course, but they were also of age, very
Yes.
vulnerable. 65
Right.
and older.
Right.
So I lost a lot of peddlers, and now we're just recouping. Most of my peddlers have been vaccinated. I've been vaccinated. We're getting our vaccines out to those who are homeless. So we're back on the upswing, and I'm seeing I'm doing orientations at least one a week now for new
Awesome.
peddlers.
You're getting it back.
Yeah, so we're getting back out there. So if you see us out there with our blue vests, our trike, and our blue Mercy Peddler flags, we're out there connecting with those who are homeless on the streets.
So how can people help? What do you need most? Do you need donations? Do you need peddlers?
Yeah, we need in-kind donations. I'm
Uh-huh.
talking individually packed hygiene items, soaps, shampoos, lotions, because during COVID, many people didn't go to the hotels and they didn't travel. So we stopped receiving in-kind donations from all those little hygiene
Right.
items.
So you go stay at a hotel, you snag all the shampoos and
collect
soap,
them. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Collect them, and then you can get them to
So we
Mercy
need you to
Peddlers.
go travel, collect them, and bring them back.
So I'd say go shopping. When you get your vaccination, go to the Rite Aid or Target and buy up
Dollar
all the
Tree,
little
you
individual
bet.
samples.
Yeah, and some unique things that people need on the streets.
Okay, let's
Hand
show some pictures.
sanitizers.
Let's show some pictures of that.
Oh yeah, there we
Okay,
are. And
let's
see,
show.
and you just load your trike up with everything from hot coffee to warm hats and gloves right now, and snacks. So
Yeah.
they're all loaded up. There,
Oh,
that's
and there's
my that's my trike, and it's a custom-made cabinet. And in that, I have coffee, hot chocolate, hygiene items on the second shelf, and snacks on the top shelf. And again, you just come to someone one-on-one and just meet with them and greet them. And this is Wilson. Wilson is very disabled, and he just enjoyed getting a good hot cup of coffee in the morning.
So, and where does he live?
Yeah, he lives in his wheelchair. So terrible. He's an example of someone who needs help. And I don't know what else to do, but I gave him a blanket yesterday and a cup of coffee, but he sleeps in his wheelchair in Midtown.
Man. Oh my goodness. It's like, it breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart. The people in the most need are receiving no help. They're receiving help from you, but it is just a touch, right? It's not where
we just need so many more options for housing, especially with people with pets and who are handicapped or disabled.
Right. So are they lightening up the rules on pets that people can bring them into the shelters? Or do they still?
It's hard, but with COVID, at least you get a little bit more space, and they do allow pets in the warming shelter at this point.
Okay, because it's hard. That's the only support that so many people have is their dog.
Absolutely.
Right, and you can't bring your dog in. It was like, well, I'm not coming in. I can't come in.
And the hotels really don't want pets, and many housing situations don't allow pets.
Yeah, and that's their lifeline to society is their pets. So it makes it really, really hard to find placement for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Mercy Peddlers, we can collect donations. We can. How about finances? You want money donations?
Oh, that's fine. Every nonprofit needs monies for its operations. I try to
Yeah.
keep my operations down, so I don't have an office. Um, I have
Your
no
office is
employees.
upstairs. You're in your home. And right
Yes, here
behind
I'll
you.
show
Okay.
you.
So
I keep
show me
my
your bike. Show me your
yeah,
trike.
I keep my trike right there,
There's the trike.
and my
Okay.
hygiene items.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And do
got
you have a
soap,
storage?
shampoo, socks,
Oh,
and
there
all
it
that.
is. Racks
And
of
then
stuff.
I go
You
out every day, Monday through Friday. And then I have a storage unit. So we do pay for a storage unit, which carries 4 trikes and lots of hygiene items too.
ah,
So our peddlers just check out a trike or two and go out Monday through Sunday. So the biggest thing I think is actually people who can actually be peddlers, because the more neighborhoods we can reach, the more contact we have one on one with those who are homeless. And we're talking 5,000 folks on the streets.
yeah.
So if we have someone who lives in Carmichael and can pedal out there, you're going to reach a handful of your people who are homeless in your neighborhood.
Right.
Land Park, East Sac.
How about
I even
Natomas?
have a Mercy Peddler in Auburn, the city of Auburn.
Awesome. How
Yeah,
about
so
Natomas?
yeah, exactly. And the more you can go out, the more you're going to connect and really get a chance to develop that trust and care, and make a difference in someone's life.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, if you become a peddler, do you have to collect your own things to give away, or do you
Well,
have
it
them?
sure helps if, because it's kind of like the Tupperware, um, or even Almway. The more friends you have, the more stuff that you can collect and bring, and have your friends bring things to you. But with our storage unit, many of the peddlers go there too, and I
Uh-huh.
try to stock it from all the volunteers who give me things. So part of my job is to logistically collect all the items and make sure the storage unit stays full,
Ah,
and try to
okay.
give it out to all our peddlers. But
Okay.
peddlers themselves are very restourceful. They have friends that make them peanut butter and jelly sandwiches,
To take out.
cookies. Pete's Coffee, Starbucks gives us some of their beans. Um, Paraneri's gives us fresh bread. So they make their connections in their neighborhood of businesses and friends who want to
Yeah.
help out. So it's just
Oh,
a
that's
matter
so
of
awesome.
connecting.
That's so awesome. All right. So right now, I'm going to start a collection of personal hygiene items. So
Yay!
anybody out there that is listening, you can drop them off at our office
Mhm.
Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 3. Somebody's at the
Mhm.
office, 2415 23rd Street. We'll be an open collection center, so that takes a little bit of burden off of you, Libby.
Thank you.
And we'll promote some pictures of what we're raising.
Oh, that'd be
Um,
great.
so, is there anything other than personal hygiene?
Well,
Hats, socks,
in the summertime we need water, so waters are
okay.
great, juice is
Cases of
great.
water.
Mhm.
Cases of
Water
water.
bottles, yeah.
Yep. All
Uh,
right. So all
Sunscreen.
sunscreen. There's a
Mhm.
good one. Yes, because it's coming up. It's
Yeah,
supposed to be in the 80s the next couple of
absolutely. Yeah.
days. So
But mainly it's just bringing your heart. When you connect, that means you care, and it gets back to those who are on the streets, because
okay.
they really do appreciate it.
So I can't be a Mercy peddler all the time, but I'd like to go out with you one morning.
Yes, I run into you all the time.
I
As
know.
you're
I'm
out
out there
walking,
walking the
I'm out
dog.
pedaling.
I know. I know. It would be fun.
Yeah,
It would
let's
be
do it.
fun.
Let's do it
Uh,
next week.
Okay, next week sounds good. You just tell me which morning is a good one,
And
and I'll come out with you. You
then
can.
we'll take some photos. We'll do some photo
Yes,
ops.
we will. Yes, we will. So, is there anything? What's on the horizon? What do you see Mercy Peddlers doing? Do you see it growing into other cities?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's the biggest thing. It works in Sacramento because we're a biking town and it's not too many hills. So we have lots of bike lanes, lots of bike ways. And so biking works really good. So if you live in a town, or your daughter or your son or a friend lives in another town that's good for biking, and they have an issue with those who are homeless, let's start a Mercy Peddlers there.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
We'll
Let's get
say Mercy
it growing.
Peddlers Sacramento, and then Mercy Peddlers Phoenix,
Woodland,
Arizona,
Phoenix, Arizona, Los Angeles.
LA. Woohoo.
Oh, they have lots. San Francisco. It's
Yeah,
like
but
San Francisco.
San Francisco is kind of hard to bike. It's pretty
It's
hilly.
hard to bike. It's really hard to bike. I know. Oh, but homeless people are everywhere, and
Yes.
we need to do what we can to outreach to them, to connect with them. So when they're ready to move into indoors, they have a connection with people
Yeah, and the
that can
trust
help
and
them,
care.
right? That they trust and care. And I think that that's the biggest thing that you talked to me about when we first started. It was that I just want to build trust and have a conversation. It really
Absolutely.
is. I can't help them other than building trust. And then when they need help, they have somebody that they can reach out to and say, I need help.
Yes.
Isn't
And we'll
that just,
be there
and
because we're
yeah,
Sacramentans.
yeah. So how many peddlers do you want to grow back to? 100?
Well,
150?
100's great, but I have no limits on it. This ministry is so powerful that we're not in danger of going out of business until we get every 5,000 people off the streets of Sacramento. So
Yeah.
if it happens, then I'll retire, but we'll keep working until that day comes.
Well, you can ride that bike for a long time. And you just had knee surgery too, didn't you?
I got a new knee, a bionic knee, so I can pedal
And
forever.
how is it? What percentage are you back to normal?
About 75%.
Okay.
When you get a new knee, you really got to keep bending it and working it and working it.
So biking is good.
Yeah, biking's very good for
Yeah, there
knees.
you go.
Yeah,
So it's for your personal health.
yeah. Biking's fun, and that's what I tell when I do orientations for new people. Is like, hey, you get fresh air, you get a little bit of exercise, you feel good out there. I mean, Sacramento is such a great place to bike early in the morning, early evenings. It's so cool, it's so warm, it's just lovely
Yeah.
weather.
Yeah.
And then you see so much when you're on a bike versus driving. And walking, you can't get as far. So biking, you can actually find many people who are homeless and you can bike to them. And that's
Ah,
what's great about it.
ah.
Mhm.
So on my walking, every morning I walk about 4 miles. I'm going to
Mhm.
start sending you addresses of people.
Yes, yes,
They're
that's
the onesies.
exactly.
They're the one, every 3 or 4 blocks because they want to be isolated from the scary groups. I mean, and it
Absolutely.
gets very scary out there.
It is. And we can go in the alleys, we can go on the sidewalks, we can go in little coves where cars can't reach.
Yeah.
And we can really find those in need. And once we ring our bell and say, hey, I'm a Mercy Peddler, would you like a cup of coffee? They're like, oh my God, how'd you find me? Of course, I want a hot cup of coffee. And they're
It's
very
great.
appreciative.
It's just great. You get love every day, Libby.
Amen.
And you got to feel like you're really doing something that's building community. I mean, it's like you've got the best job in the world.
I do. So thank you for putting us on the market out there in the public. You tagged us, bringing mercy to the streets. I love our website. I love our brochures, our cards. I like being live with you, Tina.
Ah,
I mean, you do such great works for nonprofits, for people who serve those who are most vulnerable, especially homeless groups, from Safe Ground to Loaves and Fishes, to Family Promise, everything. You really
everything.
reached out to those in need.
Well, and that's the little bit that I can do. But your whole life is you are the angel. You're Sacramento's angel. You've earned your wings, and now you just have to flap them around the city. All right,
Yep, yep.
we
Look
have
for
less
us with our
than,
Mercy Peddlers flags.
right. Is there anything that so if somebody makes a donation, do they get a little flag or something so that they can promote you
Oh,
or
they can have
a
whatever
bumper
they
sticker?
want. I'll give them a logo, I'll give them a flag,
Okay, we'll put
my
them on the
card,
website.
and my
We'll put
phone
them on.
number. You can have my phone number and spread it around.
Okay, so you want to promote your phone number?
Sure.
Okay, let's say tell everybody your phone number.
916-879-5581.
Expect some calls, Libby.
You betcha. I've had that number for 20 years and I always return a call.
You're awesome. You're awesome. I can hardly wait to go riding with you one morning. So I will get that set up and I'll be out there on my bike. I don't have a three-wheeler though, and then I don't have an electric powered one. But
I got one for you.
do you? Okay, so maybe I'll meet you somewhere and I can ride one of the fun ones.
I think it'd be really fun next week.
Okay, next week. Yep. Everybody, thank you for joining us. Please share the love with Libby and Mercy Peddlers. She's in my heart and she's in the heart of all Sacramento. She's our angel. Send what you can and send us, drop them off at 2415 23rd Street at Uptown Studios. We'll collect big batches so that you have enough to last for a year. Thanks, Libby, for joining me. And thanks, everybody. We'll see you next
week. Tina. Go
Bye-bye.
Uptown Studios. Bye-bye.